What the heck happened to the first slam dunk in theaters? Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for spending a few moments of your time with me. So, let's talk briefly, because I've actually been getting emails and messages about this, about the first slam dunk. Now, I was very surprised at how well my video review of the first slam dunk did. It's actually so far the most watched review that I've done since I've started doing video reviews on this channel, and that speaks to volumes of how few people are probably talking about the first slam dunk and how much interest there is in the movie. Now, I gave the movie a very positive review, and I gave G-Kids a lot of credit for picking it up and giving it a wide release, but after just a mere week or two of being in theaters, the movie is practically gone. After the first week, you almost couldn't find an English screening, and now during the second week, it only appears to be in a handful of theaters. And a lot of people are now watching the review, they're wanting to go see that movie, but they're not finding it. And they're trying to figure out, well, why? I mean, it kind of came and it went really fast, so what's going on? And here's the thing. As much as we hate to think of the movies as a business, the reality of the matter is movies are a business. My college teacher, Professor T, told me Hollywood is not in this business to entertain. They are in it to make money. And to make money, they have to entertain. But the money is always going to come first. Now, you have to keep in mind that G-Kids, what they did was basically a gift to fans of this movie. The slam dunk, as I mentioned in my video review, never caught on in America. It's always had the nichest of nichest followings because it's just a weird combination. You know, in America we have nerds who watch cartoons and read comic books, and then you have jocks and bros and everyday people who watch sports like basketball and baseball. Slam dunk is a basketball comic book slash cartoon made for teenagers. This is not something that was ever going to be easy to sell in America, and sure enough, it never really has sold well. I think the fact that G-Kids saw this movie and picked it up knowing that slam dunk was really not a thing in America, first of all, was really generous of them. I think that they looked at this movie, it's like, look, this thing has never been popular in America. It's never come close, but it's a quality film, it can stand on its own, and so we are going to take a chance on releasing this movie in America. And that's exactly what they did. And they did everything they could. They gave it a rating, they got a dub all prepared for it, they advertised it in theaters. I mean, this is something that people were at least aware of. And on the opening weekend, it made over $500,000 in box office ticket sales. And make no mistake, for a movie that is based on a franchise that historically has never done well, to the point where I think at least 3 different anime companies tried to bring it to America and all failed, this was a very good result, especially since it was also released in the midst of Barbenheimer, which was just sucking the oxygen out of the rest of the theaters, at least for the week that slam dunk, or the first slam dunk, was in theaters. But make no mistake, more than $500,000 is not a great return for a lot of movies. And I think to this date, the movie has either grossed just less than $1 million or just a hair more than $1 million. Now, that means that the movie was probably profitable for G-Kids. I can't imagine it being that much money to acquire the rights and to dub it. And the advertising, even though it was there, was extremely minimal. So overall, they probably made money, but you have to also look at this from the theater's point of view. They not only have Barbenheimer that's still doing very well, they've got the Meg 2, which had a bigger than expected opening. They have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, which obviously was going to gather some interest. Sound of Freedom got more screens because word of mouth is carrying that movie, and more people are going to go see it. So there are a lot of movies that are out right now movie theater screens are valuable real estate. And look, when I went to see the first Slam Dunk, it was in a theater with 12 people. Now, that was more people than I expected to be there, but nonetheless, it was 12 people, and I would say a third of those people bought snacks. If the first weekend was only over $500,000 and the second weekend had a huge drop, then guess what? That movie is not going to be given valuable real estate by the movie theaters. I can guarantee you that not only did it lose screens after that first week, because I don't think they were selling that many tickets to begin with, but what screens it retained were the smallest theaters in the theater, and when even those failed to sell half of their tickets, they got moved out because there are more and more movies. Now, in hindsight's always 2020, maybe September would have been a better release for the first Slam Dunk, considering its niche nature and the fact that, well, in September, it's typically a dry spell and people looking for good movies, they're out there, there isn't as much product that can be seen, and the first Slam Dunk might have done a little bit better. Who knows? Or maybe it did better than expected, because if Barbie and Oppenheimer were sold out, they look through their little apps, Regal Unlimited or AMC Stubs A-List, and they see this animated movie that they've not heard of, and it's like, well, you know what, I'll give it a chance. So this was always going to be a small play, no pun intended, by G Kids. They did us a favor by releasing this. I think had Crunchyroll picked it up, they probably would just put it on their streaming service and called it a day, because it is that low of a brand name. So the fact that we got it in theaters at all was super impressive, and I'm really glad I got to see it in theaters. But at the end of the day, this is a business. It is a business. First Slam Dunk is not owed real estate at the movie theaters. And this is why, if you really want to see these movies, you have to go out when the iron is hot. You have to see them while you can. You have to bring your friends. Because here's the thing, if the word of mouth helped carry it for the second weekend, then maybe it would still be in a lot of theaters, and maybe you could still see it. But basically, a bunch of people came at the first weekend, there was a huge drop off the second weekend, and theaters just could not justify keeping it around for a third. I have no doubt that it will be released on Blu-ray soon, and when it comes out on Blu-ray, well, you can pick it up and enjoy it to your heart's content. I know it's not as good as the movie theater, but that's the business, and that's why I tell people, look, you vote with your wallet. If you want to see a certain kind of movie, buy a ticket to that movie. Don't wait for it to come to streaming. That's not where the money is. Buy a ticket, see it in theaters, buy the disc. If that's where you want entertainment to go, if those are the kind of movies you want to see, you support it financially. But that being said, what do you think? Did you get to see the first Slam Dunk? What did you think about it? And can you see it now? Like, everyone open their apps right now and say, hey, is it in your area or not? I'd love to know. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.